What's up, guys? This is Adi, and I'm back from the motherland. I am here. This is Friendlies International, and we are chatting all things Olympiacos today. New digs, just moved, new streaming area, so the lighting is a little bit off. I promise the next time it'll look maybe a little bit less White Room-esque. But anyway, we're here. We're chatting all things Olympiacos. We're going to talk about the preseason so far. Phase 2 is over, and we're getting ready to see the friendlies that are coming up this weekend. Will be against the Italian opposition. We're playing against Napoli. We're going to be playing against Inter Milan. Real tests. But before we start chatting more about the preseason so far and what's been going on, don't forget to like and subscribe. For those of you that are tuning in, a bunch of you are already starting to jump in here. Go ahead, hit that like button. All the engagements help us find more red and white fans. So hit that like button, subscribe if you don't already. If you like what you hear, helps us continue to grow the red and white community. We are firing on all cylinders here. Last week, we hit 17,000 on Instagram, so huge for us. Really exciting stuff. And I believe also we're making our way. We might have hit 16K on Facebook too. So we're growing. We're going here. YouTube's chugging too. We're moving well past 7,000 on towards 8,000 subscribers here. So help us continue to grow this channel, and we can continue to grow this community. It's fantastic. I saw some of you in Greece. I saw some of you at the museum. And before we talk about the museum, guys, don't forget to support us on Patreon. If you are interested in scouting reports, the latest scouting report, Gabriel Strafezza, he just went up on Patreon. So if you're interested in that scouting report, you can check it out. Content tier members get to see the scouting reports. You also are allowed to go in and make a one-time purchase to see a scouting report. That's a new thing on Patreon, so go check that as well. And for $1 a month, you can join the WhatsApp chat, the infamous, legendary WhatsApp chat. So anyway, a couple of quick updates. As you guys know, earlier this week, the museum, the new museum for the 100-year anniversary opened. I got to see it literally on the second day. I believe Costa Levoyani is making a vlog for it, so check that out. I got some great footage. Met some of the staff there, saw some of you guys there. Those of you, if you saw me, go ahead and check in, say hi if you're still in Greece. But it is incredible. I mean, it is worth it, guys. Go check out that museum. If you're in Greece, has to be a stop. Whether you're an Olympiacos fan or not, it is an unbelievable experience. They did an amazing job with the museum. I mean, the presentation of everything, when you first go in, the little presentation when you're in the room, the walls, the history, how they explain the history, the different, oh my God, the interactive displays, guys. You can go and pick out different moments in Europe, players. It's incredible. A modern museum, unbelievable. There's even some little interactive games you can do. I saw kids doing the handball stuff, and there was a little model of the Karaskaiki there. And there is a lovely, lovely memorial and dedication to the victims of the Gate 7 disaster. So you guys need to go see it. There's also, at the very end, a really nice video. And you might recognize somebody in that video. So they let me know when I went into the museum that somebody from Friendlies International was in the final video. So that was really cool. But you guys need to check it out because the museum is absolutely insane. You also might recognize that I'm wearing one of the new kits. I have the away kit on. The kits are great. And then, guys, the Champions League patches are back. That had 5 years we haven't been able to get that patch. So you can get a patch from the Champions League on your jersey. Before we start talking more about preseason as well, guys, there is a giveaway on Instagram. There's a giveaway for one of the away kits. You can check it out on Instagram. Just follow the directions, and you can enter for a chance to win the away kit, the new away kit for this season. And as always, guys, more giveaways are coming. The season is around the corner. We're right here. Super excited. Can't wait to see what's going on. So let's talk a little bit more about preseason. You guys know there's been a lot of different transfer rumors about some of the players that's coming in. So we've seen what's been going on so far. We had 2 friendlies this past weekend. We had the friendly against the Al Tawud from Saudi Arabia, and then Union Berlin, which has been by far our toughest friendly since the preseason began. Union Berlin, German side, we struggle with German competition historically, as you guys know. And Union Berlin, even though they're more of a counterattack, low block team, very tight defense. Last season, guys, they allowed the third lowest XG per shot as a team compared to everybody else in Germany. That means they had one of the best defenses in terms of limiting the amount of quality shot opportunities against. So a very good team, a team that allowed the eighth least goals in the Bundesliga too. So they had a good defense despite being a lower table team, compact, rigid, and organized. So the fact that we were able to come out and it was pretty comfortable for most of the match. And we ended up getting a goal. It was a very nice goal from Chiquinho, but I was happy with the opportunity creation. Of course, against the Saudi side, I wasn't expecting much from them. We probably could have scored 5 or 6 goals against them. But what I tell everybody, and I'm going to reiterate again, is that when you're watching these friendlies, don't worry about the score. Whether we're winning or losing, don't worry about the score. What you need to look at, and pay attention to is, one, are we creating a number of scoring opportunities? And not just are we lobbing the ball in randomly, are we creating clear opportunities? How is the movement? How is the transition? Do we look organized in transition? Do we look organized in the press? Specifically for Mendilibar, we know the press is our number one strategy. We press to win. Are we organized? Are the players doing what they're supposed to do? And so far during the course of preseason, the press has looked good. I mean, the poor Saudi side, we were smothering them on the press. They could barely get passes together before having to hoof it out. Even Union Berlin at times was struggling with our press. That's why we had so much possession against them. At one point, I think we had close to 70% in terms of possession. They kept giving up the ball. These are really good signs. The team is working well together. The players that are struggling a little bit when it comes to assimilating to the press are the ones that you would expect, right? Some of the newer signings. Some players look like they're ready to go. Lorenzo Scipioni. I know my co-hosts have talked about it before. I mean, this guy, for me, this guy's ready. I mean, he could be a starter. Is he a little bit maybe out of position? I don't think he's as tactically aware as Santiago Eze is, but he is a bulldog. I'm not worried about him. I've been saying for about couple weeks now that I am expecting in Champions League, our starting midfield pair will probably be Santiago Eze and Lorenzo Scipioni. Maybe not for the first game, maybe not even for the second game. But I know that down the line, that's going to be the case. You just feel it. Both of them, great players in the midfield, great lockdown players on the pressing side, different profiles, right? Eze is not the aggressive midfielder, but he's very smart, incredible, always leads our team in interceptions. He's a league leader in Greece for interceptions per 90, possession adjusted. Great player. And Lorenzo Scipioni, not quite the interception guy that Eze is, but he's a dog. Absolute bulldog, can run all day as well. You're feeling that the Champions League, the defensive setup will be those two. Some other guys that are seeming to struggle a little bit. Diogo, the Portuguese player, Diogo Nascimento. If you watch the scouting report, in the scouting report, I had mentioned my doubts about the player and what he could do in the press. That was my big question mark. He's going to take longer to adjust to the press. He is a great ball player, and you've seen it in the way he moves the ball around. He can move the ball around well. He was heavily involved, and when he was playing in Portugal in second division, but now his role's different. He's not the guy in possession. He is a guy. And we've talked about this. When players come from those environments, when they're key pieces and then they're not a key piece anymore, there's a transition period. He's one that will probably need more time to adjust. And we have a stacked midfield now between Muzakitis, Santiago Eze, Danny Garcia, Lorenzo Scipioni, who's doing well. And then the newest academy addition, or one of the newest additions from the academy to the first team, Argyris Liatsikoras. This guy has come out like lightning, and he has been running his ass off in every friendly we've seen. He's done well. He scored a goal, but he's been doing great work. He's a little bit off when it comes to the press. You can see that. He's a little bit off here and there, but he's working extremely hard. If we end up selling somebody, I am not super worried about the midfield for different reasons. Maybe you guys earlier today, you saw that there was out of Sport Italia coming from Italy that Inter, the report said, was offered Santiago Heze. They were offered him. Like we talked about with Yusuf Yazici when reports were saying he was being offered to French clubs. None of these reports say who is offering him. I honestly doubt, like with Yazici, I doubt Olympiacos is shopping him around to sell him. That's hardly the signal that has been sent, and that's not what we've been hearing from our sources either. Santiago as his agent might be offering him to clubs. Maybe he thinks his stock is high enough. You know, he was injured in the summer. He had a great friendly. He looked really good against Union Berlin. So maybe he is trying to see if Santiago has his stock is high enough for a move to a top league. Maybe. But I doubt the club is actively trying to sell him. We know that Scipione and Diogo Nascimento were brought in case somebody gets sold. The club's not going to say no if the right offer comes in. If Inter comes in and they offer 15 to 20 million, he probably gets sold. But the club is not pushing for a sale for this guy. There's no way. But if the right offer comes in, the door's always open. Mouzakitis is another one that in the past was linked with the move. It's quieted down a lot, but in the past, he was being targeted. He's one I would be a little bit more worried about if we actually were to sell him, because he's clearly the most creative option that we have. I mean, you saw he was the one that gave the assist. Not that it was a super amazing assist, but this is what he offers you in midfield. He's creative. He can play from deep. He moves the ball well. That's something that I believe would be very difficult to replace, considering we don't have any other options that are like that. Even Diogo Nascimento, maybe if he's able to assimilate, but right now we haven't seen that from him in the friendlies transition period. So I'd be more worried about losing Mouzakitis at this time than I am Santiago Eze, because I feel we're so deep and full of players that can fulfill the different pressing roles that the midfield trap has to do. So with regards to that, the setup that we have, the core in the midfield is really good. It looks great. I'm not super worried even if we end up selling somebody. We've seen a little bit of what's been going on the defensive side. Ruben Vezo is not going to be at this club for very long. I mean, there was already reports that he was cut, but Mendilibar is going to keep everybody training because why not? That's the type of coach that he is. As it stands, we need one winger, a left-footed left winger. Now, remember, guys, just because Mendilibar says he wants right-footed right winger, left-footed left winger, they're not staying there the whole time. He switches wingers constantly. So, but he does want them because he wants the crosses. He wants crosses in, and depending on how game script is or how the game's moving, he likes to switch. He likes to move the wingers back and forth just to see if he can open things up. Strefezza, we've seen he had a much better friendly when he played his second appearance. So like to see that he's an option that's going to be quite good for us, I believe. If you watch a scouting report, I explain everything, and then there's also risk associated with Strefezza as well. So that's a situation that's really good. We just have to top off with the left wing. We need another option there, and then guys, we have a great winger core here. The other player from the academy that was promoted to the first team for the preseason, at least, is Stavros Pneumonides. This kid has been lights out for the friendlies. Every single game he has played, he has been unbelievable. 2 goals, 3 assists in the 3-4 games he's played. I mean, if he does not get rostered, if both of them don't get rostered, we riot. Especially if Pneumonides does not get rostered. This guy is unreal. Costa and I have been saying it for a while. Based on what we saw from the youth league, this kid was a perfect fit for Mendilibar. People talked about Papacanelos. I'm not going to rehash what we've talked about with Papacanelos, but Pneumonides he is like a glove for this style. And if he doesn't get rostered, which I believe, I'm 99% sure he gets rostered. he doesn't get rostered, it's a travesty. I still believe, even with the deep midfield, that Liatsikoras deserves to be rostered as well. Even if he only gets 10 to 15 games, that's fine. He should be rostered. He has shown in preseason that the effort's there, and he looks good with the team as well. Both of those players should be rostered. But, man, the winger core, we bring in a solid left winger. We really, really are looking good here. I have a question here about from one of our patrons. Nicholas, what is the status of Gelson Martins? So Gelson Martins is out for 2 to 3 weeks. It's not as bad, thank God, as many people were expecting it to be, but it looks like he'll be out about 2 to 3 weeks. 2 to 3 weeks. Spiros TS here. What about the winger? I think now we sold Veld. Yes. So the report was 7 million total package. That's what Fabrizio Romano said. There was an insider. Tom Bogart had said, he's like the MLS insider, and he had said 5 million plus bonuses. So 7 million package. However way you slice it, that's what looks like Velde is being sold for. It hasn't been announced officially yet because, of course, there's immigration paperwork that has to be taken care of for the United States first, but we do expect that will be announced soon. But the stuff that we've seen so far in preseason, we talked about the midfield, we talked about the wingers so far, the striker situation. Hefte Betancourt, of course, before I talk about Yaremchuk and El-Kabi, he's on loan to Albacete. We've talked to some journalists there. We've talked to some individuals over there. And all I can say is we told you so. We've been saying since this happened that this guy would never see an official match for the red and white. Just did not make sense. For whatever reason we brought him in, That's okay. But there was no way this guy was going to be a preseason. I was never expecting that. And now he's playing in second division Spain. So good luck to Betancourt, but was never going to happen. Yaremchuk and El-Kabi, on the other hand, have both been, they picked up where they left off from preseason, looking great, getting opportunities, scoring the opportunities they have. El-Kabi missed a couple in the most recent friendly, but I'm happy with the looks from them. And the most important thing is that outside of course, Gelson Martins, we have gone through preseason without major injuries. There was a scare with Biancon. Center back Biancon in training, there was an injury after a slide tackle, but thank God he's okay. He's going to, he missed the 2 friendlies, but he will be good to go before the season starts. So that's a really good thing. Martial talked about this as well. One of the most important things about preseason is getting through without injuries. And so far, so good. We have the injury to Gelson, so he'll miss about 2 weeks, but he should be back for Asteras, which is a very good sign. Very good sign. Moving back to the defensive side of things, we've seen a lot of good things as well. I haven't yet talked about Remy Cabella, even though we were talking about some of the winger position and what people are doing there. Costinha on the right side with Remy Cabella is an amazing little combination. Those two work so well together. Absolutely love seeing that. Rodinei looks pretty good as well. And my take right now about that right back situation is I think Rodinei will lose the starting spot to Costinha this year. I think Rodinei will play more of the Greek games because we'll need somebody that gets more advanced and maybe he gets rotated into the wing position. But I think this is the year for Costinha. I think Costinha cements himself this season as our starting right back. Center backs, not worried. We're looking for that third choice center back, the backup to Lorenzo Pirola, the left-footed center back. Somebody that's a Carmo-like replacement. Right now, Gustavo Mancho is the player that we seem to be close to. It was reported that we had offered $3.5 million for the player. He's from Fortaleza. Very interesting player. If you've seen the stats that we've posted about Mancha, he's Carmo-esque in various respects. Build very similar. ball playing center back, can play out the back directly and quick and long passes, just like Mendilibar likes. But the difference really that we see so far in the data, and if he gets signed, I'll elaborate on the scouting report, is that Carmo was a much better option right now in the air. And looking at the stats, you can see that that's very clear. Like there's a huge discrepancy between Carmo's success in the air and Mancha. Now, Mancha's way better on the ground and he's faster, but he doesn't have Carmo's prowess in the air. So that's going to be something that if we sign him, while I'm not necessarily worried about it for a third choice or a backup center back, it is something to think about. But, he's a very interesting option coming out of Brazil as well. My major concern right now going into this season is the left back. We've been hearing that the club wants to sell Francisco Ortega and to find an upgrade at left back. But you don't hear too much about them pushing. There was interest from River for Ortega for, I think it was 7 million. Honestly, if you make any kind of profit, I think you take it because it's positive book value. But right now you look at Francisco Ortega and Bruno Onyemaichi, and that is not, that's enough to win. That's enough for Greece. Don't get me wrong, but that is not a left back duo that I think is good enough for Champions League. I will be honest. Bruno Onyemaichi is an incredible physical specimen. I mean, he is quick, he's fast, he's very physical. He's a player that has the physical traits to play in a top league, a top 5 league. Physical traits. But then his technique on the ball is, you guys saw his final product. It's not all there. So what I would like is to see, at the very least, an upgrade over Ortega. And you get a better left back, a left back that is more capable. And then Bruno is a fine backup for Greece. He's even a fine backup defensively against the better European team because of how physical he is. But he's not able, I don't think he's going to give what you want as an offensive back, like what Costinha and Rodinei give you on the right side. The clear thing is that right side is our stronger side than the left side is. So I would like to see an upgrade, if possible, at the left back position. We'll see how that goes. There's a few weeks left in the window, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. Whether one's gone, whether Ortega's gone, or Bruno. Arispan is bringing up his hot take here that he doesn't think Bruno will be on the squad come September. That's a hot take. We'll see. One way or another, we need an upgrade there. I think right now the more sellable asset is Ortega. So, Dimitris G, would you prefer Tsimikas or Giannoulis for Ortega replacement? Tsimikas or Giannoulis? Based on current form, right now, I would rather have Giannoulis. Tsimikas has not impressed me for a while. I think in general, he's a better player if all things held equal, right? I think Tsimikas is a better player than Giannoulis. But right now, I think Giannoulis is a better fit for us as the way he's playing. He overlaps, he gets forward better than Tsimikas does. Even if he's a little bit more suspect on the defensive side, I think I would rather at this moment have Giannoulis rather than Tsimikas. But, I believe that Tsimikas, maybe if he comes back home, we'll see a rejuvenated Tsimikas. We won't see kind of like the lackadaisical Tsimikas of the last year or year and change. The one that's kind of seemed to be content being a backup and not fighting to be better, not fighting for that first spot. Maybe that changes, but I don't like to see that in a player. I want a player with ambition. I want a player that fights and that tries harder. So that's why at the moment I would prefer Giannoulis. But am I going to be upset if we were to end up getting Tsimikas? No. Right now you guys have been seeing that Nottingham Forest has been tied with with Tsimikas. It's all summer. Interest has been Tsimikas, Nottingham Forest here and there. Remember, Tsimikas, this is a contract year for him. It's the final year. And Liverpool has already been reported to be wanting to move him on. And last year, there was also a rumor that he could come back to Olympiacos, and we were told in no uncertain terms that he did not want to come back to Greece. I don't think that changes here. Nottingham Forest also needs a left back, guys. The left backs they had one on loan. They repurposed a right back for left back, so they need a left back too. And if they end up getting Tsimikas, I don't really think, unless they sign other ones, that they're going to loan him to us. But we'll see what happens. There's plenty of time. We have 3 weeks in the window. We know things get very dramatic as the window comes to an end. So there's plenty of time for us to reassess that. The priorities right now for the club are getting that third choice center back, whether it's Mancha or somebody else, and the left-footed left winger. So the winger probably is the one that is the biggest priority. Now, somebody already brought up earlier for the winger situation a hot take, and it might have been Arispan again. Arispan here with all the hot takes. There it is. Everything points to the winger being Bryan Gil, especially Mendilibar's words about patience. So here's my little conspiracy theory about this. So we know that right now, Marinakis will not do any business with Tottenham because of the situation with Morgan Gibbs-White, and we've been told as well by other sources that right now there's no Bryan Gil is on ice because of what happened with Nottingham Forest and Morgan Gibbs-White, them trying to steal him basically. What I think would end up happening in the end is because he's a businessman. Marinakis is a businessman. What I think ends up happening is maybe he strong arms Daniel Levy into a deal, and Bryan Gil then comes to Olympiacos for a little bit of a sweetheart deal. I could see that happening. So we'll see. There's plenty of time in the window. Bryan Gil doesn't really have a lot of offers anyway. He would be a great fit for Mendilibar. He's exactly what Mendilibar wants. We've seen a lot of other options right now. Like everybody that we're targeting for wing keeps going. I mean, Kevin Zenon is not happening. There's been issues with the two clubs that own his rights, and it's just a terrible situation. There was, I think it was Lucas Ferreira is his name. He is going to Shakhtar Donetsk, 12 million total package, not money that we're offering for a winger. And then there was somebody else that ended up getting sold for 8.5 million. Dennis Mann, 8.5 million out the door elsewhere from Parma. So there's still a couple of names that fit the profile of what Mendilibar wants. There's Bryan Gil. Don't forget about Lazio's Cancellieri. He's technically not off the table yet. So we'll see what happens. Unfortunately, guys, I know everyone wants the business done early, but some things wait until the end of the window. Happens every year, so we shouldn't be surprised. It is what it is. So, the one thing I'll tell you guys, though, is this year and even last summer and the summer before, the way the business has been done at Olympiacos is much better. Scouted finds all over the place. Look, even our flops like Christopher Veld, I know most of you consider him to be a flop. 4 million in, 7 million out. He depreciated 1 million because he was here for a season. That's 4 million of positive book value. That is good business. If your flops you're making profits on, good sign. Really nice scouted finds. And the way you can tell these are scouted finds is, they're coming from different corners of the earth. This is the scouting department at work. No shady deals where we have no idea where the fit is. The way you can tell it's a better scouted find is when you can see how they fit in the system. Even if there's risk with other things, the scouted finds are how this club creates value. You get those players, they have a value proposition, you keep them for a season or two, and if they do well, you sell them for much bigger profit. That's the only way Olympiacos can compete. That's the only way we can compete in modern football. That and the academy. You're seeing heavy investment right now from the club into the academy, bringing players in constantly. The way now they're approaching the B team is different. bringing in guys like Valbuena, bringing in Siovas, so that they can mentor the young players, have that extra step for them. If the club is able to bring one or two players from the academy into the first team every year, that is a massive success. I've said it before I left for Greece, and I'm saying it again now. The club is operating how it has to for a club from a country like Greece to compete with the top clubs. And if we're hoping that we're going to be in Champions League more often than were in the last 5 years, then this is how we have to do business. We're going to have to find the players in areas that other teams aren't looking, because we don't have the resources of other teams. So right now the team is looking good. We've spent quite a bit of money. We've spent 16 million on 3 players so far. By the time we get the center back, by the time we find the winger, the way the market is for wingers, we probably will spend about 30 million on transfers before the summer is over. And that is assuming that we don't buy a left back or sell somebody else. So many things can happen, but there's plenty of great work that's going to be done here. You guys might have noticed also the academy, 9 contract renewals for some of the young kids, some very interesting ones like Adonis Dama. I believe Rolakis was renewed as well, the goalkeeper, Georgakopoulos. So some very interesting players coming up in the academy. Not all of them will pan out. But if you get just 1 or 2 every year, that's it. It's amazing. Amazing from the academy. So this is the business. This is how it has to be done. Question here from Patron Nicholas. Who are the next players from the academy to come up? So based on what we saw last season, I really thought midfielder Paris Plionis would have been another player that got called up. I was extremely surprised that Yusuf Tai did not get promoted, but then, that whole situation changed. I was really surprised that he didn't get the call up. I also wanted to see Lamine Silla get called up, but then he ended up signing officially for Forest. So he's now a part of Forest's academy now. He got his work permit. But I really expected, because I thought he would have been a good fit for Mendeleev, I really expected Yusuf Tai, the Nigerian kid who absolutely lit it up for us. He was the leading goal contributor for the youth team for the U19s last season. So I think he was one I expected to get called up, but he didn't. So we'll see how he does. It looks like he's going to be again with the youth team this year. I believe he turned 19 sometime in January last season. But, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But he was one I thought. So look for him, Paris Plionis. And then, guys, don't forget, we have 3 wonder kids that just signed for the academy. There's Eric Hamza, who was part of the Valencia Academy. Colo Cotroni, who's another very interesting player. And then we also have the Cypriot kid, Glafku. And then we brought 2 kids from Asteris's academy who are supposed to be incredible players too. So we'll see what happens. So with some of those players. But the situation looks good, guys. Situation is good. The business that's being done is better. The friendlies, what we saw in the past 2 friendlies, from everybody looks in sync. Everybody looks good. And this is the important part. There are players that look a little out of sorts, which is fine. The newer players have to transition in. It's fine. It's fine. I feel good. I don't know how you guys feel. I feel good. Last summer, there was a lot of negativity, especially about our wingers and the fact that we didn't sign Daniel Podence or Kostas Fortounis again. I had told you, Costa had told you, most of us had told you that we felt we had the strongest squad in Greece and we would at least win the title, if not the double. And then we won the double. This year, I'm just as confident, but I like what we have on the wing better. I like Benebmonidis, the way he's playing, and I like Strefetza. Strefetza looks pretty good. Him added with Gelson Martins. We bring in that other player, and if Yusuf Yazici stays, man, let him cook. Great stuff. Absolutely, absolutely great stuff here. Great stuff indeed. Spiros TS here asking, do we know why they didn't keep Kostulas and let him go to Ofi? Oh, you're talking about Kostas Kostulas. You know, there's a lot of griping about that. I've answered this question before, and my answer for that is so Kostas Kostulas hadn't played. He still before now hasn't played a top flight football, right? And you had Galogieropoulos, who just played 2 seasons as a starter for Volos and looked good. With what you already have, right? Mendilibar and his roster requirements. You have Retsos, you have Pirola as your starters. Biancon is your backup right-footed right center back. You need a backup left center back. Galogieropoulos is coming in. He's had a good season, but he's probably not Champions League ready yet, right? Are you going to take a risk with another untested or an even more untested player than Galogieropoulos? Probably not. You need a little bit better choice, at least a Biancon level guy in terms of his experience. And, that's really the situation here. So I get it, but unfortunately, I don't think he was at that level. As far as keeping him at Olympiacos B, that I don't disagree. But, remember, what does the player want? We have to think about that too. The player wants to play. He wants a chance at first team football. And if the club isn't going to give him that chance, he wants to do something else. So in this case, he's going to go to Ofi, and he'll have a better shot at playing there. We have to remember, it's not always about what the club wants or what we want. What the player wants is up here too. So we have to think about that as well. And in this case, I think Kostulas probably wants first team football. It is what it is. Dimitris G. Strefetza looks way more comfortable on the right wing based on his 2 appearances in the friendlies. I mean, he played primarily right wing for Como. Even though he can play as an inverted winger on the left, he played primarily right wing for them. So, yeah. I mean, he looks good there. He has great crosses. He's not a lot of flair, but I mean, he can get by defenders and whip stuff in. So, if that's the way we want to play, that's the way Mendilibar wants to play, you need to bring the assets that can do that. And he can do that. So, it's great stuff here. Great stuff from Strefetza. Great stuff, guys. Real quick, everyone, if you haven't checked it out yet, there is a poll that is up. I am asking you all if you're satisfied with the squad so far. A lot of you have already voted, but go ahead and answer. Let me know how you feel. Are you satisfied with the squad? Yes or no? And then there's another qualifier. Yes, if we sign the center back and the winger. So let me know your thoughts. Tell me what you think about the squad so far. And real quick, I'm going to plug this again. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Help us continue to grow the channel. Also, guys, there is about 7 days left for the Football Content Awards nominations. Last year we were finalists. We didn't win anything, but we were the first Greek-based social media content provider, YouTube podcast to be nominated that covers Greek football. It was huge. We were the first one to make the finals. So that was huge for us, even though we didn't win anything. We met a lot of people, a lot of great individuals from different walks of life in the football world, as well as different types of advertisers and network providers, things like that. It was really cool. So we have a bigger following now. We're about double the size. So we really want to try to win this thing. Prove to everybody that Greek football matters. So go to the FCAs.com, footballcontentawards.com, and nominate us for Best Podcast International or any other thing that you think we could do. Social media, content creation, you name it. Go check that out. There's about a week left before everything closes. So thank you guys for that. And thank you guys, those of you that have already nominated us. So thank you all. And hopefully we're there again. I think it's in Leeds this year. So it's going to be a very, very interesting trip. Guys, keep your questions and comments coming. I don't mind answering. There's besides the friendlies and some of the transfer news, not a whole lot else for us to talk about unless there's other things you wanted to chat about. So go ahead. I'm going to just talk about a couple more comments and see what else comes in from you guys. And then we'll continue to move on from there. there was a discussion about, I saw a comment here about Mancha. So actually, well, let's handle this. Dimitri Barbuni says, if we sell Eze, we must take a good half. Do you have someone on your mind? So Dimitri, I'm actually going to disagree here. I don't think we need to buy anybody else. If we sell Santiago Eze, we already brought in 2 midfielders, Diogo Nascimento and Lorenzo Scipioni. Lorenzo Scipioni is the replacement for Eze. He operates in a similar manner. He's just more aggressive. Is Eze better at anticipating and intercepting the ball? Yes, but I don't think we need to buy anyone else. With what we're seeing from Argyris Leatsikoras, with what we're seeing from Scipioni, and then we have Danny Garcia and we have Muzakitis already, we don't need anybody else. It's already a stacked midfield. If we sell Santiago Eze, I think we're fine. I am more worried about the left winger, and I would like to upgrade left back. So I would rather resources go to getting the left back. That is my personal opinion. GS here, is Yazici staying? So here's my long answer. In the beginning of the summer, before preseason started, I had been saying, and Vageli, one of our newer co-hosts, he does Greek Wednesdays with Costa most of the time, and he's joined me for the Sunday show as well. He and I both agreed before the preseason started, and we both have been saying this. We did not believe that Yazici would be sticking around at Olympiacos in an official capacity. This was before we saw him in the friendlies. And the reason for that is he's not a Mendilibar winger. Then the preseason happened, and you saw Yazici come out on fire, like a bat out of hell, as we say in English. And he looked like he was somebody that could definitely offer us something. He can't press for 90 minutes. That is for sure. He has to get subbed out. But the way he came out and worked and tried to do whatever he could to appease Mendilibar, just coming back from an ACL injury too, I mean, is incredible. And while I still didn't expect him to really be here till the end of the summer, I do want him to stay. But there was the news that was reported that he was being, quote unquote, shopped to French teams in Ligue 1. I think his agent's doing that. I think his agent's testing the waters. But there's no way Olympiacos sells him for less than 5 to 7 million, for sure. This guy's got value, and he looked great in the friendlies. You know, people have asked us, do you think the player wants to leave? Like, is the agent doing it because the player wants to leave? And my answer to you is a couple of things. One, remember how agents get paid. Agents get paid a portion, when there's a transfer fee, there's a fee that goes to the agent. And then agents also get something from the player too. Agents get a piece of their salary. So remember that. So, but the big payday comes when a player gets purchased because the agent gets a fee. So I'll start with that. But then the second thing is, Yazici's a good player. He's a starter. It wouldn't surprise me if he wants to see if anybody wants to purchase him in a way that he would be a starter. Does that make sense? He's a true professional. I don't believe for a second that he would force his way out. And I don't think while he's under contract, he would pull an Inbom Huang, so to speak. But I think at the very least, I think he's probably, whether he has told his agent to shop himself around or not, the agent for sure is probably trying to test the waters to see what's going on. Whether he stays or not, I couldn't tell you. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up leaving. I didn't expect him to stay at the beginning of the summer, but after what we've seen in the friendlies, I really would like to see him stay. I don't think he would be a starter for Mendilibar, but I do think that he would be a great depth option. Him and Remy Cabella would be money. Let's see. We got a couple of other questions here. First, Nicholas, what do you want to see as Olympiacos Champions League matches in your opinion? Who do I want to see? You know, I would love another crack at Bayern Munich. I really think we can take them this year. Really tough? Yeah. Would we probably lose? Maybe. But this is probably the best chance to give some payback to them than we've ever. It's probably one of the best squads, right? One of the deepest, most well-balanced Olympiacos squads we've seen. If they can't do it against this Bayern Munich, which is a little bit weaker than the Bayern Munichs of the past, I don't think we could ever do it. So that would be one I wouldn't mind seeing. Wouldn't mind seeing that at all. GS here saying Nascimento is not UCL material. Not yet. Nope. I agree with you there. I don't think he's ready. I also don't expect this season. Again, this is scouting report stuff. Go check out the scouting report on him. But I had some difficulty seeing that him being a important part of the squad this year. He's going to take. I think he'll take a longer time to transition than others. Spiros TS, what is your opinion on the center forward I got? I think you're talking about Jovic. Jovic is an interesting player. He's a very interesting player. But I think his best years are behind him. It's an Ike move. I think he's going to do great in Greece. I don't see why not, but it's a very Ike move. And Ike has other issues about their squad to worry about. So, but he's not a bad move for the Greek league. Not at all. Adis Bond. Let's hope the third time's the charm for the young center backs from Brazil. We dropped the ball hard with Edu Dracena 23 years ago. Viana was not good. Mancha, please be good. Again, scouting report. We'll talk all about him, but, Mancha will have his risks. But listen, the value proposition for his age, third choice center back, not as much risk, and the ceiling is up there. It's really about what he can do in the air and if he can improve that. Nicholas here asking if we'll open the lines again. Yeah, we do it pretty frequently, so we'll probably do it again. We'll do it before preseason ends, I think, for sure. No, I don't have a problem doing that. Anarchivi, I think we need to splash some cash on a number 10 that runs like Chiquinho with better passing IQ, because we lack the ability to capitalize on the balls we win from pressing. So I'm going to tell you, unless that is what we target, since Bentancur is gone, if we're going to target another player like that, maybe, but I doubt we're looking actively for somebody that's like that. You know who can do that right now? Remy Cavella. I know he's been playing on the wing, but he can do that too. You know who did pretty well, but he can only keep it up for about 30, 40 minutes is Yusuf Yazici. He's another one that looked really great behind the striker when he played in the friendlies, but he can't keep up the press. Chiquinho is right now the best option we have doing the press behind the striker. And he's quite technical for all things considered as well. The other option was Kostulas, who could he was very passionate, very aggressive, so he could operate in that role, even though it wasn't his natural position. But I don't think we're actively looking for another person in that role. I think with the players that we're actively looking for right now are one, the left wing, and then the center back. That's what we're looking for right now. I doubt we're looking for another 10. I really doubt it. People have talked to me about Yorgos Masouras. We've talked about how Yorgos Masouras can do the pressing, and for Diego Martinez, he did play at one point behind the striker, and he looked okay there. But the problem with Masouras is he doesn't have near the technical ability of what a guy like Chiquinho has. So Masouras would not be effective at all. You think we can't convert now when we win the ball? Try putting Masouras there. It's not going to happen. So I don't believe that we're looking for a number 10 right now. Maybe if we get rid of Yusuf Yazici, okay, maybe we try to find somebody else that can operate like that, but I don't think we're actively looking for that. In the future, a player I believe that could do that, assuming we can get him to operate better in the press, would be Diogo. Diogo Nascimento. If you guys saw Diogo when he played in second division in Portugal, he was box to box. He can cover the ground like Chiquinho can. The only problem with him right now is he's just not assimilated to the press at all. But he has the technical ability, more technical ability than Chiquinho has, to do incredible things with the ball. He's really difficult to dispossess. But the issue with him is, again, he's not a 10 by definition. He's more of an 8. He prefers to be deeper in the midfield. So that's where you saw like an Mbam Huang type of thing. So that's really what you get with Diogo. So you would be gambling on the fact that you could get Diogo to operate in that role, like we did with Chiquinho, by the way. Chiquinho came in when we purchased him as a number 8. We were fortunate that when Mendy reappropriated him, Chiquinho had played as a 10 before in the past. So he had already had some experience there, and it ended up working very well. It was a very good fit for us. So right now, that's kind of like what we're looking at. And that Nascimento wants the ball too much, but doesn't make any great through balls or lofted passes. Kind of predictable and not good at pressing. We should have gone for Mia. Mia is not a 10 either. Mia's deeper. Mia would have been a deeper midfield. So it wouldn't be like, he wouldn't be an option you could use at the 10 either. I know a lot of people would have preferred a more veteran option for the center midfield, but guys, we're not paying the money that they wanted for a 30-year-old center mid. It's not happening. Look, Strefezza is a little bit older, right? He's as far as our wingers are concerned, right? You know, I believe he's 28. So paying 8.5 paying $8 million for a 28-year-old winger is a different conversation than paying $5 million for a 30-year-old center mid. The value is just not there. The market for wingers is higher. That's why you're paying more for that. It's not that way for center mids. I get it though. I understand what you're saying. So, but you know, we'll see what happens. I think everybody would have preferred to have the veteran option in Luis Milla, but too expensive and the value payoff was not there. So that was not going to happen. But again, I don't think we're looking for any 10s in the near future. It's going to be a left wing and the center back. That's what we're looking for. 100%. GS, give Ortega and money to River for Lencina if we want a winger type. 10 winger type, man. It's not a bad option. But guys, you know, I've said this before, and I probably need to repeat it again. Everyone keeps asking, we need a 10, we need a creative player, we need this. You know, it's what we remember, especially those of you that are like my generation and older, that position we fell in love with, some of those creative magicians, like it doesn't exist anymore. That it's gone. Total football has taken over modern football, right? In many respects. And players have to do more. There's no 10 that all he does is sit behind. Like everybody has to press. Everybody has to do more. The game has changed. And even with a return to pragmatic football happening against the pep ball, right? Against the tiki-taka, the pep ball that everybody's getting sick of. The traditional 10 is done. You're not going to see those again. You're not going to see a lot of those. So it's one of those things. It's not happening. You're not going to see those again. And besides, I think sometimes the fan base also doesn't really understand what it wants, you know, because all everybody screams is we want a direct winger. We want a winger, direct winger. Well, technically Christopher Veld was a direct winger, but it was a bad fit for Mendilibar's system. What Mendilibar wants is not what you want. He doesn't want a direct winger that's inverted, that cuts in and shoots. He wants a right-footed right winger, a left-footed left winger. That's what he wants primarily. He likes to switch them during the course of a game, but he doesn't care. He wants the crossing ability, and he wants people that he can move around. He doesn't change the system, only players. That's it. So that's really the situation when you guys ask for 10s and other things. So I'm going to do a couple more questions here, And then we're going to wrap everything up. I'm rolling solo here. It gets tiring talking all by yourself. And Archivi, we also need to sign Danulis. Both Ortega and Bruno are really bad offensively. When we come up against opponents that press at a basic level, we need at least one proper wing back on the left. I don't disagree with you at all. I have been saying I want an upgrade at left back. I agree. I'm all you. Lakis Gavalas, are you saying that Strefezza is worth 8 million? So 5 million cash plus 3 million bonus. Is Strefezza worth 8 million? Dennis Mann went for 8.5. Do you think Dennis Mann's better than Strefezza? Lucas Ferreira, an untested winger, just went for 12 million. This is the market. Christopher Veld just went for 7 million. It's the market, man. It's the market. Do I internally think the valuation of Strefezza is 8 million in my mind? Probably not. No, I don't. I would agree with you there. But unfortunately, the market has dictated a completely different, higher value for these wingers. So in that respect, 5 plus 3 for Strefezza is not, if you want a better winger than what we've been getting, I think that's what you have to pay. And I think Strefezza's physical traits are good. I think he has it's just whether or not he can assimilate in the press. Really, for Strefezza, he's smaller. Can he do that work that Gelson does so well? I don't know. Do I think that Strefezza will give us more than Gelson does, assuming that Gelson stays healthy? I don't think so. I think Gelson still right now seems to be a better overall fit or better overall piece for us under Mendilibar's system. But I don't think Strefezza will do worse than Veld. I think it's pretty easy to say we should get more from Strefezza than we will from Christopher Velde, at least more buy-in. Mentality-wise, I mean, he's fit. He can run all day. He was doing the press in the friendlies without any issue. He doesn't appear to be a locker room issue either, like Christopher Velde was in terms of his mentality. So those are all things that I believe will play into him doing better. Let's see. Ortega's been getting better, but still isn't good enough offensively. He gets scared and falls back at big matches, and almost all fast players get past him. Yeah, I agree with you, man. I agree with you entirely regarding the Ortega situation. So anyway, that's the situation here, guys. Some disagreements here about Giannoulis, whether it would be good for us or not. I don't know. I think whether you think he's good for us or not, is he an upgrade over Ortega? That's the question. So as long as he's an upgrade, that's what matters. Well, boys and girls, we're going to get ready. We're 1 hour in here, so we're going to get ready and start closing up here. We're going to look at the poll. I asked you guys if you're satisfied with the squad so far. And a whopping 82% said yes. 43% said yes, just straight yes. 18% said no. 39% said yes if we get a winger in CB. So assuming we get the winger in the CB, 82% of you are happy with the squad. Only 18% are not happy, which is much better than it's been in the past. So overall, I think this is the pulse right now of the fans. Most people are satisfied with what they're seeing. We want those extra pieces to be ready to go, but everyone seems to be pretty happy. I don't know if you guys listened to the statements by our captain, Panos Retsos, but we put them on socials, but after the game, he talked about how Mendilibar trains everybody the same. He expects the same, and everybody's able to contribute, and there's no issues on or off the pitch. So he said they have a great group on and off the pitch, and it seems that way. You can feel it. And it just, as preseason has gone on, we've looked better and sharper as the games have gone on with respect to the press, how we transition, the opportunities we create, even against better opposition. So good signs, guys. I'm feeling pretty good. Sounds like most of you are in agreement with me that things are looking pretty good. So keep that positivity. There's a lot of exciting things that I think will happen. This is really, really big. The return to Champions League, I think this is going to be a really big season for Olympiacos. So I'm super excited, and all of you should be as well. So, Guys, again, thank you. Thank you so much for all of that are tuning in. Don't forget about the giveaway. Instagram. We're giving away an away kit. We're giving away a brand new away kit. We're doing that. That's going on Instagram. So read the directions. Follow us on Instagram. If you don't have an Instagram, create one. And more giveaways are coming. We had the giveaway before. We did the 100-year anniversary jersey. We have this away kit now, and there's more giveaways coming in the future. I promise you that. So, but check out our Instagram. Enter for a chance to win the away kit, the new Olympiacos away kit, and check out everything, all the content we're doing. And then please don't forget to nominate us for the Football Content Awards. There's a week left for nominations. A bunch of you, dozens of you already have. Thank you guys so much for those of you that support us and have continued to support us. It is really amazing, and we really appreciate it. All we want to do is just make Olympiacos a bigger and bigger presence in the world of football. So help us continue to accomplish that. You guys are amazing. Thank you for everyone. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Help us continue to find more red and white fans. Keep an eye out this week. I believe there's going to be a Greek Wednesday. If not this week, the following week. There's still some of us in Greece. And the ones that do it normally on Wednesday, they should be coming back. But if not, that should return the following week. And if you guys have any other questions, don't forget to let me know. You can find us on socials, X, Facebook, Threads, Instagram, you name it. Find us there. We'd love to answer your questions. So thank you guys again for tuning in. I'm Adi. This is Studios International. By the fans, for the fans. And we'll see you all next time. And especially for those Italian friendlies. Pumped for that. Super excited. Have a great Sunday, everybody.